everyone, it's Justine and I'm making my very first Christmas card of 2016, and it's for the ton, and it's the fall 2016 release blog hop, and this is why I'm making it. So be sure to hop along. I'll provide a link below in the description. Lots of inspiration from the design team and tons of stamps and dies and couture mixes being released today. So let's get started. I'm going to be using this stamp set called the Fresh Cut Poinsettias, and as you can see, this is a layering stamp. There's layering two different kinds of poinsettias, leaves, a candle, and lots of really fun stuff, as well as a sentiment. And I'm going to be stamping it in 3 different colors. And I'm going to get started on stamping this in Red Sangria. And that's going to be my very first layer. It is a little bit on the pink side, so I stamped it once again using my Misty, and it darkened up the color quite a bit. For the second layer, I'm going to be using a red stamp, or red ink rather, from My Favorite Things. I just kind of had to pull a whole bunch of my random colors together from different companies in order to create some really great layering. As many of you know, I'm in the process of moving, so a lot of my stamp stuff is not here, so I have very limited supplies to work with. So this is the My Favorite Things mini ink cube, and I decided to stamp that a couple of times because I was feeling that it wasn't really standing out against the layer of the red sangria from the ton. So I stamped that a few times, and as you can see, the more I stamped it, the more in-depth and great it looked. The last layer, I simply used aged mahogany from Tim Holtz. Now you might not think that this would be a great stamp to use, but doing that sort of brownish red color really made that last layer pop. And as you can see, this third layer of the stamp really isn't too heavy. It's only got a couple of little accents in order to accentuate the poinsettia. And as you can see, it looks extremely realistic now that I've stamped all the layers. So I'm going to get started by putting my card all together now. I've done the stamping, and the rest of it is really quite easy and simple. So this would actually make a really great card for bulk cards as well. My card base is going to measure 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and so when you fold it, it's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it's a square card. I took a piece of white square cardstock here, and I am stamping this with VersaFine ink, and I'm using the Scripty Holiday Greeting stamp. It's a very small stamp set of sentiments that are perfect for Christmas as well as Thanksgiving. And I'm stamping this, as you can see, in 2 different layers because the the sentiment rather, was too long for the square. So I just stamped the 2 words separately and stamped them one on top of the other. And that's a really great way to get more out of your stamps, especially the long ones that don't fit in the areas that you want them to fit in. I just grabbed a scrap piece of paper just in case there was any residue from the Christmas still, and that worked out really well. Now came the time to put everything together, so what I wanted to use was some gold adhesive backed paper from the ton. This is the matte color, and then I grabbed some white sheets of paper as well. My goal for this card was to create a really classy Christmas card that had a lot of white space. So I glued my sentiment that I stamped inside the square earlier, and I cut a piece of gold matte paper just slightly larger so it created a nice border around it, but a border that wasn't too thick. I believe it's about 1/8 of an inch on each side. I did the same thing with this gold piece and this blank white. This is just going to provide me a nice little frame. Now attaching everything to the card was really easy. As I mentioned, the background, or this gold paper here, is actually adhesive backed, so I just needed to peel off the back and then stick it on. And then I did the same thing with the smaller piece, but instead I added some 3D foam tape instead of using the adhesive back because I wanted it to pop a little bit, just give it a little bit of extra texture. So now I have all of these, and I'm just going to attach my poinsettia. As you can see, this turned into from a really plain card to a card that really pops by adding this red accent. But I wasn't really finished there. I wanted to accent the card a little bit more. So I used some Wink of Stella. This is a shiny pen, and it's like a glitter pen almost, and it's in clear. So I went over top, and you can see the glitter a little bit with the camera there, and it really made it truly shiny. The pictures at the end of the video will also show you the shine. I debated about adding an embellishment, but then I decided to use these little berries that also come with the holiday cone stamp set, and they are also a layering stamp, and I think that was the perfect accent to add. So I stamped them in 2 different colors of red ink, similar to the poinsettia ink, and the final one was with that aged mahogany to give it a really dark look, and I think that in the end that ended up being a much smarter move than adding any other embellishments. So that was the end of today's card. I hope you enjoyed the Christmas card tutorial. All the supplies used are listed below in the video description or on my blog, and don't forget to hop along with us on the blog hop. Thanks so much for watching!